I'm going to try and use my YouTuber voice.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Just a Thought. No, okay, so welcome to the very first episode of Just a Thought. This podcast is basically just me ranting about things that I love and reviewing the things that I love. Occasionally, we're going to have some people on this podcast to help me figure out what I want to say about these things. Okay, so for this podcast, we have Ellie with me.
Hello.
Say hi.
Hello.
For today's first episode, we are going to be talking about a Court of Silver Flames. What's the little, what would you call it? Because you've got Akatar, Akawar, Akamath. Like, what would this one be? Akasif.
There's no vowel between, so it's hard.
No. Akasif
I just call it
is what
Silver Flames. That's usually what I just call it.
Yeah, that's usually what I call it too.
Mhm.
So today we're talking about Silver Flames. This is the newest Sarah J Maas book that just came out.
Yes.
I have a lot of feelings about it.
Same.
So, where to begin with this book?
Oh
Do
my God.
you have anything else to add, first off, in this like little intro?
No, I'm here to just talk shit and enjoy myself talking about books with my best friend. So
We
I'm here
honestly
for the
should
ride.
We honestly should have like made drinks or something because I feel like this is gonna.
We should have.
We're gonna have to do that for next time.
Yes.
So, I also have to add, if you're listening to this podcast, it is 100% spoilery. So, if you haven't read the book, do not listen to this podcast and all the other podcasts after this, because everything that we talk about are going to be complete spoilers for everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so, oh Lord, what are your overall thoughts of this book?
Right. Just
First
diving
off.
right in.
Diving right in.
So, fucking obsessed with all the Valkyrie stuff. I want to be a Valkyrie. I want to read every training thing to be a Valkyrie. I love all of that. Absolutely love like her mental health journey.
Mm-hmm.
I have some things to say about the males in every Sarah J Maas book, but especially this series. And like how the fandom talks about Elaine being evil. Like those are my main things that I need to address.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so first of all, the Valkyrie stuff. Okay, listen. I have been telling Joe that I want to go kickboxing. I've told you that I want to go kickboxing too.
Yes.
Only because I read this book. I'm like, you know what? If these bitches can do it, so can I. I was like, I need to go fight something. I need to go punch something. I need a hot man to show me yes, and show me how to wield a sword. I mean, come on.
I understand. I absolutely
So I was like,
understand.
Joe, I was like, will you come kickboxing with me? He was like, no, I don't want to do that. I was like, oh shit. But
you should still do it anyways. Like I've had kickboxing classes and stuff before. It's so cool. Like it's so cool.
Totally.
And you feel really cool when you're doing it.
I'm totally gonna do it just for myself, just to make myself feel like I'm Nesta or Gwen or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me see. Okay, so the very beginning of the book was, I don't want to say a struggle for me, but man,
it took you ages.
It was.
It was frustrating to be like, okay, so for the listeners, Corrine and I are legitimately best friends in real life. And we're, especially with this podcast in mind, we're reading books at the same time. And she was like, I don't know. I just can't get into Silver Flames. And I was like, Corrine, you have to. Like, you will love it. It's my favorite in the series.
Let me tell you my reasoning. I couldn't get into it because I felt like the beginning was just so depressing for me.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Just because of like Nesta and the way that she's like trying to deal with her trauma and just the way that everyone else was trying to help her deal with her trauma. I was just like, oh my God, this is overwhelming and a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
But once you get past that point and then she's like walking down the stairs in the House of Wind and you're just like,
oh, I just got chills when you said that.
you know,
Stop. Yes.
it just makes me so sad.
Yeah, I see. And I definitely understand where you're coming from on that. I think it's because of my writing background, when I was, and maybe I'm overselling myself a bit there, so you can tell me to chill the hell out on that. But
No.
when I was reading that beginning part of it, like, it is like desperately depressing. But like, I think the way it was portrayed, I thought was just very thoughtful and very beautifully done, that I was kind of looking at like the writing mechanics of it rather than like, wow, this is making me real sad. But it did make me sad and I did empathize with it, but I thought she illustrated that struggle really well.
She definitely did 100%. And I think that's why it took me so long to get into it, because it was just like hitting so hard.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ooh, do I want to read this? I'm like, is it going to put me in a spot where I'm like, I don't know. So you live clear in Ireland, so I can't necessarily like go to your house and like talk to you about this. So the only person here for me to talk to was Joe.
Right.
So I'm telling him all of this stuff and I'm telling him how like this makes me so sad and like so depressed, and he's like, then just stop reading it. I'm like, you don't understand. I was like, I have to know how it ends. I have to know her journey. He was like, well, if it's making you so sad. I'm like, okay, shut up. This is why I need my girlfriends here, because you're not helping.
You also can absolutely FaceTime me or call me or text me literally anytime about a book, and I'll be like, yes, I will stop everything and we will have this conversation.
Which we text a lot about books.
We do.
Like a lot.
I think that's our primary source of conversation.
Yeah. Which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah.
But so we have that whole mess in the beginning of the book. It's not a mess. It's a perfect illustration of Nesta.
Yeah. Oh man, and I had to go on such a journey with her because like I knew by the end of the book, like, okay, we're gonna empathize with her. This book is for her. And so I knew we were gonna go on that journey. But in the beginning, I was like, this bitch. Her sisters care for her so much. She just needs to let go of her shit for a second and try.
I don't think that any of the listeners right now. Okay, I'm not going to say that because I might get canceled, but
So soon.
I think that a lot of people hated Nesta at the beginning of the book. I mean,
I didn't hate her.
Rightfully so. Okay, maybe not hate her. Maybe that's not the right word. But some of the decisions that she decided to do were frowned upon, I guess. I would say that.
Yeah.
I didn't like Nesta at the beginning of the book just because of like everything. I don't know. She was a bitch. Let's just all say that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's fine to be a bitch.
She made a lot of mistakes. Mistakes.
But don't we all? That's the way I was looking at it through this book. I was like, okay, it's going to be fine at the end. Like, there's more to her that we don't know about.
Definitely.
And I feel like that's kind of what I was waiting for. And I knew I had to wait for that throughout the entire book, because it's explaining her. It's like explaining her trauma, her journey to who she is now. Okay. Cassian.
Okay.
The golden boy.
Your boy. Reese is
my boy.
But Cassian's yours.
Katina, she's going to be like, who do I have left? Az?
Yeah.
Oh, and also, I want to talk about that.
Me too.
Will be later.
I need
to
talk
talk
as a specific point. We will spend time talking about Az. Trust me. That's
but
my
Cassian
whole,
through this
conversation. But yes, Cassian.
Yes.
Oh, what a gorgeous gem of a male. Like, so kind. And oh my god, every time she reiterated that like reaching out a hand thing, I just like lost my shit. Like, I could not contain myself or my emotions every time that Cassian was just showing this like extraordinary empathy and just beautiful heart. Like, I was like, oh, Cassian, please.
Oh my god, he's so fucking hot. I can't.
That too. That helps.
I couldn't get enough of just like him. She writes him so well. He's such a good character.
He's
I
got
can't.
such a personality.
Yes, and I love it because I don't have a personality. So
What?
I'm a Cancer.
Lies.
I'm supposed
Lies
to be
and
like
fallacies.
this introverted. And Cassian's like the outgoing, like he don't give a fuck, like type of like vibe.
Jokester.
And that's what I gravitate towards.
Mm.
But Nesta and Cassian's relationship.
Mm-hmm. Spicy.
Yes. Very.
The spiciest, one might say.
Wait, I was thinking about this the other day. Don't ask me why. I think I saw it on a TikTok or something.
Okay.
So
if you're about to bring up wingspan, I'm gonna scream.
I totally am.
I knew it. Okay. Are we gonna talk about the fact that Az has the biggest penis of all of them? Is that what we're gonna talk about?
Yes. But okay, so Azrael supposedly, actually it's a fact, we all know that he's got the biggest wingspan, okay? And then while Nesta and Cassian are fucking, she's talking about how it's so big and it's like
too much,
railing her too much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so does that mean that poor baby Reese has the smallest wingspan out of all of them? Think about it.
Listen. I feel like it's all fucking relative. Like, let's talk about that for a second, because I don't think Sarah J Maas has ever written a male that didn't have a remarkable penis. Like, they're all steel wrapped or velvet wrapped steel, you know, like they're all strong and girthy. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure he has a very respectable penis, and like apparently Cassian and Az just have like cans of
So like we're reading all of this about Cassian's dick in this book, and I'm like, oh my god, when Az's book comes out, what the fuck? Are we gonna be ready? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
Especially like with who? Also, that's another subject that I will fight people over.
I don't know where you stand on that, actually. I know where I stand.
You'll find out. We'll talk about it.
Okay. I want to talk about the house.
Okay. My favorite character in the book.
Yes. Okay, yes. So the house is just everything to me. I think it is I just love the symbolic nature of it as well, that like Nesta needed a friend and she made one, like capital M made one, and I was like, oh my god, Nesta. And that house was just like so, like, it really was a friend. It was so loving and so good to her, and it was just like supplying her with all these creature comforts and taking care of her, and
it's
and
so
just
beautiful,
nurturing her through all of this. And then when the fucking library just showing us that was its heart, oh my god, I lost my mind at that point.
Okay, you might need to explain this to me. Okay, so when I was picturing the library and the house, are they completely different buildings or are they the same thing?
They're connected, I thought.
But like, okay, so
I thought it was like
the house is where?
So House of Wind in my brain. Very high in the mountaintop. And the spiral staircase is like an inner staircase that's like basically straight up that leads you to the House of Wind. And there's also a, like, I imagine, I don't know, a hallway between the House of Wind and the library, or maybe like a small, I don't know, they've got so much land. Maybe there's a fucking courtyard for all I know. But I know that the library is underground as well, because all of the priestesses and everything, like, they never see the light of day. So like, I know it is connected in some capacity, but I think I leave that kind of amorphous in my brain.
Yeah, see, in my head, I imagined it completely different buildings. Like, I imagined it, the house was like in the mountain, and for some reason I thought, listen, I don't know how I thought this, but I'm like, oh, the library's in town. What?
Even though she can't walk to town.
Exactly. How, why did I think that? I don't know.
That's okay. I mean, you know how I am for imagining characters. Like, every time that I read a book, I will only imagine the physical characteristics that I want that character to have. Like, I don't put in at all what I read.
Okay, so the library.
Yes.
I loved the fact that they made her go train and then go work in the library. I'm like, that is such a thing that normal people have to do. You wake up in the morning, you go work out if you want to, and then you've got a
job
9 to 5 job that you have to go to, and then you come home, and then she would come home and she would just like eat dinner and read a book. I'm like, bitch, that's life. That's life. I was like, that's so normal. But I loved the fact that Sarah picked the library for her to work in because she got to meet. Yes, exactly. And like,
who also like experienced their tragedy.
Yeah, exactly.
So she, like, they can fully empathize with that. And I'm not even sure I'm going to give enough credit to Reese and Feyre. I think they probably were just trying to hole her away to make her work. Like, I'm not sure that I'm willing to say that they were like, she's going to recognize the trauma in them and have a fulfilling experience and become a Valkyrie. Like, I don't think it was that premeditated. I think Reese especially was like, get her the hell out of here. That relationship, oh my god. But
I kind of love it, but
I like it. I like how it progressed. I like that Reese was very much more himself at the end, where it was just like he was just protective the whole time because he was a stupid male.
But that was so annoying. Like, he was so protective, and then at the ending, it's like, what the fuck? It pissed me off. Okay, but we'll get to that.
The ending pissed you off?
The ending with him and Feyre. You can't. That didn't piss you off?
I mean, I was bawling. Wait, we're jumping ahead of ourselves.
I was pissed. Okay, yeah. Stay on track. The library.
Yes. I love that fucking
The library. Gwen. Meeting Gwen. Okay, so I got spoiled on social media for this book. So everyone was talking about Gwen and Az. And everyone was like talking about Gwen, like just in general. And I'm like, who the hell is Gwen? So already going into this book, I was like, Gwen and like Az and like not Elaine, like what the hell? So I already didn't like Gwen. So going into this, I did not want to like her. At first, I didn't like her because I was like, who's this bitch showing up? Like, go away. But oh my god, I fell in love with Gwen so hard, only because like she's just so, I want to say energetic, because in my mind, like as I was reading her, she's very energetic and like very upbeat and like encouraging and always has a positive mind, even though she's gone through fucking hell.
Because like, she's gone through hell.
Yeah, and it's just like, it was so refreshing to like get a character like her that understood Nesta. She was like, besides Cassian, like the first character that actually understood what Nesta was going through, I think. And Emery, oh my god, I love Emery so much.
I do too. I also, oh god, how excited are you that she has a crush on Moore?
Oh my god, so excited.
I ship it so hard.
So do I.
I want nothing more. I want nothing more than for Moore to end up with a winged female.
Oh my god, I need a scene of them going into battle together. I feel like that would be so badass.
I just got chills. I actually just got chills. Oh, it'd be so cool.
Which I also have a theory for the next book. I have a different theory than everyone else's theory.
I don't even know what my theory is.
So a lot of people are saying that the next book is going to be Az's point of view, or like Az's book. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I could see it, but I'm sure I could be convinced on other things too.
Okay, so I saw this video of Sarah talking about the next book, and she was saying like, I thought it was obvious who the next book was going to be based around, and everyone instantly jumped to Az. I think because of the whole Gwen and Az thing, like whatever.
I feel like it's probably going to be Elaine, because it's been a focus on each sister.
See, a lot of... I guess that is true, too. But I was like, what about Moore? She was fucking gone the entire goddamn book.
I was real sad about that. I need more.
I was like, we had like a couple scenes with her just bringing people to places that they needed to be, and she was like, okay, bye.
She was just a like, taxi system, working on her shit like, by herself. Wait. And there was also that chapter at the end of what's the Christmas one?
A Court of
Starlight?
Yeah. Sure. The one that nobody should read.
I love that one.
You loved that one?
I
thought it was
desperately love it.
gibberish.
I mean,
thought
I
it was
definitely think it's fluff. I definitely think that, but it's like
Yeah.
it's something I
Yeah.
like to read at Christmas. Like I think
Aw.
it's
Okay, I can
it's
see
just
that.
it's just a
Yeah.
cute little book, like a little one-off to spend time with the characters that I fucking love. But
Yeah.
there's that chapter at the end where Moore is like on her separate estate and she like there's like a creeping like essence thing, and I feel like it's going to be the thing that lived in the library. What's his name? The like fear
Um,
itself.
I don't remember.
We should have read or prepared in any way for this.
Yes.
But
We should have. I told her I wanted this to be raw. I'm like, this is a little too raw now. We don't even know what we're talking about.
I mean, we fully know it's fine. But
Oh,
yeah,
God.
I want to see more of that storyline developing because I feel like that has to be the next big thing. Because the thing that I had the issue with at the end of this book of Silver Flames was that like the ending, it wrapped up the trove stuff so like concisely. I felt, and I wasn't expecting that like battle to just be like stunted immediately.
But it isn't, right?
Well, I mean, the
Because
person that was egging it on, like the awful human queen, she's dead.
yes, but I feel like she wasn't the one actually behind it all. What's his
You don't
face
think so?
is?
The lake
The guy at the lake. Yeah, whatever his name is. He's 100% behind it, and that's why I think
Okay.
that Elaine's going to be evil because I truly believe that
Oh, you're
he's
one of them.
going to try and talk to her. I've read so
Mm.
much stuff about this,
Mm-hmm.
about like the not the fairy tales, but like the lore of it all.
Okay.
There's like a lore about the three sisters and three princes or something like that. I'm like, is this what Sarah based this around? Because it's very interesting. I don't know exactly what it's called, and I'm not gonna talk anymore about it because I might be wrong. I don't want anybody to fact check me and be like, excuse me. I'm like, oh, sorry.
So I am willing to be convinced about Elaine. I at the moment feel like I could very much okay, so I'm of two minds. So I could very much see Sarah J Maas writing a book about Elaine being evil without like kind of to just be like picking up on what her audience has geared themselves towards because she won't want to like not meet expectations. So because like I'm not convinced that the way the entire series has built up has actually led to Elaine being evil. Like I don't believe that. I think what people have found have been very convenient instances where they're backing it up specifically, but they're not choosing the whole picture of context.
Yeah.
I could see her being evil. I think there could be a good case made for it. But at this moment, I definitely don't think she is. I think she is damaged, and I think she's gone through a lot of shit, and I think she has a hard time with parting with her past. But and like because a lot of people they validate the evil diagnosis as it were by saying things like Az's shadows always go away when he's around her. But I am of two minds on this because like I could see how that could be written in that way, but also like the shadows always come around Az whenever he's really anxious and whenever he's uncomfortable in a situation because he's receding to a place of comfort. So whenever they
they're
left
like for him.
so whenever they left him because she was around, I always assumed that was comfort because we've always been made to understand that the shadows come to him when he's uncomfortable and anxious and trying to get away from the situation. So,
which is so sad.
But then there was that little bitty part with Gwen where it was like she was singing back to the shadows and I was like, hang on, I didn't even know this was a possibility.
The shadows are like, yeah, let's play. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, where are you guys going?
Well, Gwen's over there like, do you sing? And he's just like, oh shit. I was like, this bitch needs to go away.
Oh my god, I love it.
But okay, the more I see fan art of Az and Gwen, the more I want it to be real.
Oh, I want them to be real for sure.
Oh, I'm still so hard on the whole Az and Elaine ship. I want it to happen so bad, only because it's ideal. You know, you've got three sisters and the Bat Boys, like the brothers and the sisters, and they all are together. Like the part where in Az's little.
Sorry, you just became a Yiddish grandma, and I think we needed to. I want you to keep that in. I need that sound to be in existence.
The part where Reese cock blocks him. Yeah, that's the word. And then he's on The Office, and he was like, "Why can't I like have her if like you and Cassian are mated with the two sisters? Why can't Elaine be mine? Like, why can't I explore that possibility?" And Reese is like, "Bitch, she's already got a fucking mate," which I'm like hoping that's a lie. I'm hoping that somehow that's just like not real.
I'm hoping that there is somehow, so like I don't know how this would even be, like how this could happen, but you know how, so, oh, like in Throne of Glass, like she can't play the same card, but you know how like Rowan's memory was rewritten and like could be a different kind of like a sense of trauma or something. I don't know, but I would also be very interested because they always talk about Reese's mom and how she was mated to his father, but they hated each other. Like they just had that like innate physical primal connection. Like I would be very interested in exploring that relationship because like I don't know. I don't feel like it would be too perfect to be like, oh, three maid sisters, three brothers that are all 500 years older.
I want it to be so true though. Just because of the way that she wrote, like as talking about it, he was like, he wants it so bad to be true. Like he was like, what if the cauldron was wrong? Like, what if it's wrong? And he's like, what is she supposed to be with me? I'm just like, bro, you're breaking my heart right now. And then he goes to what, train or whatever, and Gwen's there, and he's just like, oh, okay, can we talk about the fucking necklace? What the hell? Who? The necklace.
Oh,
the necklace that he gave Elaine.
I have a couple things to say about this. I have a couple things to say about Az in general. So where I feel like I'm shouting. I'm so excited, but where. This is where I wanted to get to complain about the men in this series. So Cassian, we've talked about, like he got this like beautiful journey, and I absolutely have always just adored Cassian. I've always thought he was wonderful. Me too. And I loved his presence in any situation. Yeah, he's just that he's like a big brother in to me. Like, and I love that kind of feeling.
And the fact that Cassian's like love language is like touch just makes me so happy. Because that's like so opposite for me. I hate being touched. Like that's not my love language at all.
That's my love language.
And it's just like, it's so comforting to people who that's not their love language, and it's like reading it and seeing it happen is like, oh, that is nice. Would I ever do it? Probably not, because I am awkward, but it's nice to watch. I don't know.
Well, that's cute. I never thought about that perspective. With Reese, okay, so we started out with Reese. We won't talk about Tamlin. We started out with Reese, and he was just an absolute prince, you know, like just so good in so many ways, and so just loving and kind and thoughtful and like premeditated. Like it was very rare that he would act like just out of feeling like people do. And then you get Cassian, who's a bit more flawed, but like so personable and just like a puppy that you just love. And now Az, I'm very interested to see his character development, because I think I could swiftly dislike him because he seems like a real stupid boy. And I'm interested to see how that plays out, because like the fickle heart of this man, the fact that like he's known Elaine for what, like 2 seconds in the span of his 500-year life of loving more, and then then he was suddenly head over heels for Elaine, wants her to be his mate. And I feel like that makes a lot of sense because of his brothers and wanting to be with his brothers in every capacity. But then for him to be like forcibly rejected, well, like cock blocked by Reese, and then to take that same gift that he was being so thoughtful about and giving it to this new bitch, like so fickle. And I'm pretty sure his chapter ended with him masturbating or something, and I was like, okay, you're a child, you are a 500-year-old baby.
God, I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure it did.
So I really want to know in the next book, if it is Az's book, whatever, I need that scene where Elaine finds out that Gwen has the necklace. I want her to fucking blow up. No. Okay, but so I want that scene to happen.
Okay.
I have a feeling that Az and Gwen are going to get together.
I
She's
want them
gonna
to
come
so
over
bad.
out. She's gonna come out of the library. They're gonna have this amazing experience. She's gonna come over to the house. They're all gonna have like winter solstice together, and
Mhm.
she's gonna be wearing the necklace. And Elaine's gonna be like, "What the fuck, bitch?" Like
But did
that's how I
Elaine
would
see
react.
it? I
Yes, he gave it to her. He put it around her neck.
Oh my
She
god, he
kept it,
did.
and then he came back the next morning to get like his presents before like anyone else was there because I don't know, maybe he was embarrassed. I don't know. And the necklace was sitting with his stuff. So Elaine must have taken it off and given it back. Like that's what I want to know. Like what was she doing? What was she thinking? Was she thinking like I can't keep this? Like what's his face is gonna find out? Fucking
Yeah.
Lucian, that bitch,
Oh, did
was
it?
definitely having a threesome with what their faces.
Yes.
They're all in love.
I want it for them. I would
Go for
love
it. You know what?
I'd love to see. I mean, even if it is just like as cheap as like just having threesomes in the book, like I'm interested in that. But I think it would be really cool to have like polyamorous representation. Like, what if they all just
Yeah.
fucking love? Like, how cool would that
Yeah.
be?
You know what? Go for it, Lucian. Lucian, we support you in whatever you do. Just
Yeah,
not
hell
don't
yeah.
be with Elaine. That's it.
I mean, poor guy. I feel like he's probably given up on her. But like,
And
that's
that
what's so
also makes me very
heartbreaking.
sad.
Yeah, you go.
Like Elaine's just like completely ignoring him,
Oh,
like
she's such a
giving him the
bitch to
cold
him.
shoulder. So mean.
I'm
I'm like,
so
oh my
over it.
god.
I'm like, girl,
And
you're
he's
not
like
mourning
giving her these
anymore.
presents, and she's just like, oh my god. Like she's not
Yeah.
like complaining about it, but she's like very
That's the essence you get.
uncomfortable. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I kind of understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, I'm like, Jesus, woman. Just
Yeah, because
be.
she's not like, it's not reasonable anymore. Like for her to
Yeah,
be like uncomfortable and to just blatantly ignore him all the time.
right. And
Like
he's just there trying
she's
so hard.
he's trying so hard, and it's not like he's trying to get in her pants. It's not like he's even trying to like get it like in a relationship with her. He's like just
Right.
trying to like, hi,
And
the
the
fate
way
has designed that we are mates, so I'm going to be kind to you, and you can give me the cold shoulder for all of eternity. That's fine.
yeah.
Like it's so
And I'm
immature.
sorry. I think that he's handling this very, very well
He handled
because like
it
when
perfect
Reese
well.
talks about the mating bond and like them being mated, he was like, it's like not breathing, like I need to constantly be around you, I'm constantly thinking about you, I
Yeah.
need to protect you, blah blah blah. And Lucian's just like, I feel like he's just trying to hold it all together without like giving her space. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, bro, I'm so sorry. This poor guy.
I wonder if Sarah would actually write a book about those three, like start in the human worlds, and
I
then
would love that.
I think
I
that
would
would be
love
cool
that.
because we'd have to deal.
I bet
Then
there's fan fiction out there.
we would directly have to deal with the lake guy as well.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I'm up for anything. Like
I'm like, what's
Sarah J
more
Maas will write
doing?
it, and I will read it. Like that's the
Yeah,
rule.
same.
So, like, so I'm very, very into that.
Do you have anything else to say about Az? I'm honestly over him at this point.
I'm kind of over him too. I like. I hope.
Everyone's on this huge kick for him, and I think that I don't know, honestly.
No, that's the thing that confused
So
me.
many feelings.
So, as you know, as we found out, because of living in different countries, I was able to get. I had to get the book later than you did.
Yeah.
I think it was like a week separation or something. But so I started seeing like fan art and stuff coming out about it,
Yeah.
and people are talking about like, you know, Cassian and Az like basically like fighting each other because like Cassian's like going through his mating bond shit or whatever. Or that like Az is like this like sex god or something. And then I read it and I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, that is a lot of conjecture, guys. Like
I don't
there's
understand.
nothing.
Okay, so nothing in the book really that like makes Az stand out. It's his fucking extra chapter that everyone's going crazy about. I
Yeah.
think that if she didn't add that extra chapter about him, nobody
Mhm.
would be freaking out about Az.
Yeah.
But it's the extra chapter because it's like in his point of view. Like we're finally getting into Azriel's
Right.
head.
Yeah.
And it's like interesting, which I agree. But I feel like this boy's gonna be fucked up. And I don't know if we're gonna wanna know.
I'm so shocked that he like maybe I read this wrong, but my gut impressions of him is that he's just like he just seems so immature. And for someone that has overcome so much trauma and literally like created a different kind of magic, shouldn't be so fucking childish. Like I don't.
Yeah.
He's just so immature in the ways of love, but like he's literally the shadow singer. Like he made that. He was born. He's fucking Bane. Like he was born out of the shadows and darkness.
He's so violent. Like, okay.
So
he is very violent.
He is.
And I think we forget that he is like, he actually tortures people for his job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, everyone's like, oh, our sweet ass, like, sweet boy. And I'm like, this, bro, like, come on. He's literally tortured so many people. Which, I mean, whatever.
I don't feel good about that either for the Night Court.
However you deal with your trauma. Not
She's
okay,
joking. We don't condone that.
Oh my god. Okay, and then Reese in this book was just so frustrating to me.
Okay.
I just felt like he was just, which okay. We all know that he's a very protective person. We get it. But in this book, I was just like, oh my god, get over it, dude. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, you do have a wife and child on the way, so it kind of makes sense that you're going a little crazy with everything. Yeah. But with Nesta telling Feyre that she wouldn't survive the birth, basically, in that scene with, like, in Amren's apartment. Mm-hmm. Oh, I was like, oh, girl. I
felt it coming. I felt it coming, and I kind of wanted it to happen. I
think that was the final straw for her to realize, like, she needs to fix herself.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, they went on that incredible, like, hiking journey and just bawled at the lake, and like that was everything to me. But I also just like
when she broke down. Oh my god,
girl. But the thing that absolutely like was really, really annoying for me, because like, I mean, I'm sure for all the listeners, you guys as best friends, if you read this series with your best friends, like you cast each other as well. So like, it's like it's in between us that our canon is that I'm Feyre and that Corrine is more. And so anytime that I read any situation about Feyre, it's like far too personal. And so all this shit with like everyone quote unquote protecting her from knowing and everything, I was like,
so fucking annoying.
You for thinking I'm not strong enough to handle this shit. And also, if we had known this in the very fucking beginning, I could have just changed one more bit of magic, changed into be a fucking Illyrian. Come on.
Which, I mean, I feel like they found out too late for her to change, but still, why? She's been through so much. They've all been through so much. So why did they think that this was going to break her?
This little nugget.
She's been through so much. Like, you don't honestly think that she would do anything to, like, she wouldn't go back into her, like, oh, I didn't finish one sentence that I just said.
I was here for all of it, though. Like, I feel like I was ending the sentences in my brain because all of that made sense to me. But yeah, I was so annoyed at that. And if there were ever a situation where, I mean, I would handle it more gracefully for sure. But if there were ever a situation where like my sister was pregnant and the baby had the potential to kill her, but people were keeping that information from her to like, you know, protect her, fuck that. Absolutely fuck that.
Exactly.
I will tell her.
It's so vital.
Like, yeah. It's literally her whole life that you were just deciding is like, you know, your choice.
Exactly. And I'm like,
it's bodily fucking autonomy that they took away from her.
I'm like, wait a second. Didn't she just, like, she dealt with this in the first book about her, like, having her choice taken away from her. Yep. And Reese's whole thing in the beginning was like, you get to choose. This is your choice. And then he's like, nah, I'm going to keep this from her. And nobody's allowed to say
information. She's got a winged baby in there that's probably going to destroy her. But, you know,
but I promise, everything else is her choice. But we'll just keep this between us.
Yeah. Like, just everyone in her personal life but her. No, fuck that a billion times.
I know. Nesta breaking down. Ugh. Okay, I connected with Nesta in this scene because I was like, I understand why you kept all your emotions bottled up because I fucking do that. I don't know why. It's just like the feeling of like nobody wants to hear what's wrong with you. Like nobody cares. It's fine. Just deal with it yourself. I understand why Nesta like like the realization for her was like a realization for me, because I'm like, yes, this is what you needed. This is what needed to happen. Like, you needed to burst. You needed to just let it all out. I'm like,
Definitely.
I've been waiting chapters for you to do this.
Yeah, honestly.
And then it's like, okay. I'm like, I do the same thing. So like I understand and I get it. And I was so happy that she finally just let it all out. And for it to be Cassian beside her, it was just like, it even made it more special, because it's like, I don't know. It's like when you have that person that you can let everything out to, and you know that they won't judge you, and they will sit there and listen to you and just take it all in, all of your flaws, all of like your dumb thoughts that you're thinking are important, but they're really not. It's just like, I was so happy for her. Even though it was a very sad moment, I was like, you go, girl.
I mean,
like,
it was
say
like,
more.
It was such a moment of strength for her. Like, and I know it's we equate crying with weakness so often, but it was like, for this person that we have watched, like God, we have read hundreds of pages of this person like stamping down their feelings, being so close to exposing their feelings, but being way too afraid of doing that like her breaking down and granted, it was with her mate, like there was no safer place for her to do it, but like
exactly
for her to expose those emotions, where that is the hardest thing that character could have possibly done, like, sign me the fuck up, I'm here for it. I want to read all about it. And Cassian's side of it as well broke my heart. Like him, because he was expecting her to like lash out with like physical violence. Like he was expecting them to like duke it out by this lake or whatever. And then
he was literally like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, bring it on. But then she just burst into tears, and I burst into tears because I was like, bitch, you deserve this healing. I just love that.
Yeah, and I love that he handled it so well. I feel so like Cassian throughout this entire book, he handled a lot of emotional things very well.
I think he's like the most emotionally intelligent of them.
Yes, I agree, 100%. The whole sex stuff, oh my god, okay, that pissed me off too.
Wait, it pissed you off?
wait, okay, it did not piss me off. No. I'm talking about like after, when they would just like separate, and I'm like, both of them are
want to cuddle.
that they want to cuddle, and they just won't cuddle.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Like,
I was like, just fucking communicate.
Exactly.
That is like, that's my number one pet peeve in any given book ever, but especially with the YA genre, where it's just like, there's just two idiots that love each other that won't fucking talk. And I'm like, no.
I know.
Be a person. Just be a person for a second. Just communicate. Give that a shot. Dream up a world when you can talk about your feelings the way you will in 3 chapters. Like,
yep. Okay, but the sex scenes.
Oh my god, let's talk. Those sex scenes, bitch.
The sex scenes were phenomenal, but
shocking.
My favorite were the little oral sex scenes before the actual sex scenes. The teasing scenes, that's what I'm gonna call them. The fucking tease. I can't. I just like, and the fact that she actually wrote about like blowjobs and like Nesta giving Cassian more than one blowjob, because Nesta was just like, you know what? I'm here. Let's go.
I'm a woman. I like doing this shit.
Exactly. I feel like for most people, blowjobs are looked down upon, like just blowjobs. Like if a woman is just giving a guy a blowjob and not getting anything back, or like not receiving anything, she's just giving it all, and that's it. They look at the guys like, well, like the girl wants more, like you have to do something to her, and that's not true. Like, why can't a woman just give a guy a blowjob and that be it? Like,
yes, because
why do they have to assume that women want something in return?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, twofold on that. I feel like, here's my fucking dissertation apparently, but so much of sexuality in writing is written, sexuality in writing, in like porn, in movies, in anything, it's all with the male gaze in mind. Like it's all predicated on male pleasure, male-centric pleasure, and they're not taking into consideration that sometimes girls like to blow people. Like sometimes that's like, sometimes that's an option as well. But like, I think like where I would object is where that is the only service, where it is kind of like the unfortunate truth being reflected that sometimes men can be very selfish in bed, and that sometimes it can be very much all about them, and that's not okay. I don't want a portrayal of that
Yeah.
unless we're
I
calling it
get
out.
that. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, no, I mean sometimes you can just like talk about like licking a shaft, and it's fine.
It's so fine. But yeah, the oral it was the tease.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I just
Loved it.
love,
And
I
then when
also loved how like, and this, maybe this just says a bit about me, but I love that it was always in very inappropriate places. Like,
I know.
let's just have it out in the fucking living room. Let's do this at the dining room table, and like Cassian will just hide his boner under the table. Like, come
I
on.
thought it was so fun.
I love
I was
that.
like, I thought it was so fun. And then
Did
the
you
actual
feel
sex scenes.
okay?
Hmm?
I was
No,
gonna
what?
ask, did you feel like you were robbed when we didn't get their like week together of the mating bond clicking?
No,
he went
honestly, I didn't
away.
even think about it.
He went away.
He did go away.
Specifically because it clicked into place, and then when he came back, he was like, I couldn't do that because I knew you weren't like accepting it or blah, whatever. Something
That's
stupid
so
like that.
right.
And I was like, bitch,
Oh,
the sexiest couple, we don't get their mating bond? Like,
I know.
I was like, we got chapter 55. We deserve this too. Like,
Yeah, right. Oh, that scene though where he gives her the music egg or whatever it was.
yes, the stereo
And
thing.
and then her saying
Cried.
that she can't accept it, and then
Oh, we have to
her
talk about
thinking that she
Eric,
doesn't
too.
deserve him. How do you feel about him? I don't really care.
I think I love
I'm
him.
just like, yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah. I
Oh,
think
okay.
he is. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'll say on it. No,
Yeah.
I think he's one of the most complex and interesting characters that's in this series. I love that he's got his own motivations. I love that he's like got a really fucked up past, and that he like has just learned everything that he has from Baron, but that he's very clearly like doing things with more autonomy now and trying to be his own person.
Yeah.
And been taken advantage of. Like, is there a more perfect person to insert into the Night Court now? Like, no.
Okay. Yes.
I'm into
I
him.
see that. I really want to
actually
know.
really like his character.
I want to know what he's fucking talking about with the whole Moore situation.
Yes.
Like, what was he saying? Didn't he basically say like there's stuff that she didn't tell you, or like there's
Yeah.
more to the story or something like that?
I'm
like,
sure
what the
there
fuck is the
is.
story?
I'm sure there is more to the story. I don't think I'll be able to get to a point where I can forgive him for leaving a woman to die when she had nails going through her, like Jesus fucking Christ. But
Yeah. I think I always forget how much Moore went through,
because we don't ever get
how
given
she
it.
holds herself.
That's also
right.
my issue.
Yes.
We get told she is the Morrigan, and she pulls that out when she needs to intimidate people. But like, what the fuck does that mean? That means nothing.
Exactly.
I have no.
Like,
I don't know. I wasn't at that battle.
What?
Like, all I know is that she's like confused and bisexual, and you know, sometimes jaunts off to other courts, but is generally pretty fake because she can't deal with her own inner shit. Like, that's what I know about her.
No, I'm kidding.
I know. As I was saying that, I was like, this is coming off as like a read because I just said earlier that Corrine is more, but it's absolutely in no way related. It's just because you are also an absolutely stunning and wonderful person to be around.
I just love Moore's confidence, and I think that's what I relate to most with Moore, is her confidence and just like her, I don't know, just like her whole fucking self. I'm just like, I guess I look up to her a lot.
Like, as a person in the queer community, I'm also really glad to have that queer representation of her being bi. But I feel like, you know, it's time. Just make a gay character. Like,
yeah,
let me have a gay character. Like, don't make me have someone that's been confused for 500 years.
I know.
It's like, bitch, you know.
Yeah. Well, okay, the whole mountain thing where she has to like face off with the guys coming up the mountain, and poor fucking Gwen and Emery are just like, we're just trying to get to the fucking top of the mountain so we can survive. Gwen's like, I'm dying, basically.
I'm literally dying. Yeah. But the
She's
line
like,
in the sand or the dirt or whatever, like, bitch.
So powerful. I loved it. And the fact that Gwen was crying and breaking down and like basically telling her like, we're doing this together. We need to do this together, because it's like, oh my God, it's the whole, like, we learn about Gwen. We learn that, like, she didn't kill her sister, but she blames herself because her sister died and she couldn't do anything. Her twin. And when she started saying that to Nesta and like telling her like, I am not leaving you, it's just like, Gwen, oh my God, you sweetheart. I just can't. I just wanted to like cuddle her. And the fact, I didn't see it coming, which I should have, but when Nesta like knocked her out, I was like, oh my God, they're sisters. They're all sisters. This is what you would do. Like, you protecting your own. Like, that's what she was doing. And Emery was like right there with her. She was like, I understand. I get it. And then Nesta making the line. I was like, this is it. I was like, this is what's gonna break me. So much about this book broke me, honestly.
Same. Well, I just knew whenever we got the story of that line, of that passing, like that passing point in the cave, like, oh God, I was like, who's gonna do it? Like, I read that and I was like, who's gonna sacrifice themselves? Who's gonna relive this? And then, like, you know, it goes on for such a long time that they're actually making progress, that you're thinking, you're like, oh my God, are they actually gonna do this? Like, are all three of them gonna do this? And they're gonna be like the elite warriors, like our Illyrian boys. And I was like, oh yeah. And then though, like, when that pompous, awful man just strolls around the corner, like, lets his men go in front of him like fucking fodder, and then just strolls around to be like, now that you're weak and exhausted and dehydrated and injured, now I'll fight you because I'm so brave.
Fucking asshole. Okay, so what I didn't like though was the whole Queen and like taking control of Cassian and like using him against Nesta. I was just like, come on. I was like, of course this would fucking happen. Of course this would. Yeah. And the whole, oh crap, what was it?
The kill part though, that's what got me. Like, oh my God, I was crying. Because I was scared. I was scared that Cassian was actually going to successfully kill himself. And I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, all of this sex for nothing? Like, what the fuck? You gave us all these sex scenes.
No happily ever after.
You can't take it away. But I do have to say, I felt like it was very rushed. I felt like that scene.
Yeah. Oh, totally. They wrapped it up in like so no time flat. Yeah.
And then like afterwards, it was kind of just like, okay, so Gwen and Emery won, which I was so happy for them because I was like, eh. I was like, it's not just the girls, yay, whatever. So anyway, them like being back at the house and like they're like, oh yeah, we're like fine now, we won. And then they all go back to the house and like Faye was having the baby. Oh, can we talk about that? The whole bargain where it's like, if you die, I die. Huh? Why? Why would you make that? I would never.
This is where we're different, and this is what's so funny to me.
You cannot. Cannot.
Listen. I have my reasons. Okay. So, one, I personally think that it's absolute horseshit that this 21-year-old decided that she was ready to have a baby when she had literally all of eternity left. I think that was very cheap. I don't think they needed to be like, because they prefaced it as well. I don't know why I'm saying they. Sarah told us as well that like it's very difficult for the Fae to conceive. And then it was just like, oh, we thought about conceiving for 6 months. Now we're pregnant. And like, I fucking hated that. I thought that was bullshit. I wanted a 200-year period where they enjoyed each other's company.
I thought though that she was going to explain why she got pregnant so fast. Like, I thought it was going to be like, oh, well, you're like, because you're part human or something. So like you can, but no, they were just like, yeah, we're pregnant. Hello.
Yeah. She's like, oh. No, I thought that was, thought that was convenient bullshit. Not happy about that, to be honest.
And then I was like, I was so like petty about it. I was like, watch it come out being be a girl. Like, watch it not be the boy.
Totally be different.
Like, I'm kind of hoping it's a girl just to spite you.
I know it's like an unbreakable, like I'm quoting like Harry Potter, but it was like an unbreakable vow kind of deal anyways, whenever you make those kinds of promises. But like, I can imagine that that's something that they would do if perhaps Reese was like, 400 years younger, like a bit more naive about time. But like I understand them doing it as just two adults, but the fact that it happened and they had to deal with that with a baby so soon after, like that should have been something they considered whenever they were
Yes,
like,
but
let's
also
conceive.
they have a whole fucking empire basically to run.
Yeah.
Like what was the thinking behind like, oh, if you die, I die. Well, then who the fuck's gonna
Yeah,
rule
let's leave it
your
to Amryn the
hello?
second. Oh my god, I would
And
never.
the aftermath of that, like, could you imagine?
Yeah.
It would be, and like, say, what if one of them accidentally died? Like, one of them, accidentally tripped and fell and like bopped their head and died. The other
That
one would
is,
drop dead too.
hang on, that we just have to acknowledge how hilarious that visual is, that these incredibly strong, like the most powerful high lord in existence can trip and bonk his head
Bonk his
and
head
die.
and die.
And then Farrah just gone. No, I totally
Exactly.
recognize
Just
that
imagine her.
I recognize how stupid it is as far as bonds go. I absolutely recognize that. If they were intending to be just two adults in a relationship for a long time that had just gone through this war, I could foresee being more empathetic to making that bond. But the fact that it was like it was very shortly after, right? Like it was like the battle happened and then Pharaoh was like, I want to have a baby. Like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's so
And I
stupid.
don't even think it was necessarily. I mean, it was her choice, but Reese was the one that brought it up and was like, "I want a kid," and she was like, "I can give you a kid." And he's just like,
Well, she
"Yay!"
decided she wanted it after because I have read the Frost and Starlight book a couple times, but
Well, you know
after
what? I've
she,
only read that once, and I honestly can't remember half of it. So,
girl, it's actually so
was
cute.
that where all that stuff happened? I don't even
Yeah,
remember.
it is because that's her solstice present to him, is that they're gonna start trying.
God damn it! It
But
was.
but it's because she sees that woman that creates void in the tapestry. And
Mm-hmm.
she said that she didn't have, like, they thought they had hundreds of years left together. She doesn't even have a child to have their, like, her mate live on. So like I get it. I get the urgency, but at the same time it's like you just found peace. You don't need to do this yet. Liz can wait. You're also 21
Let's
years old. 21 years old with
just go
eternity
ahead and
in front of you.
throw another trauma on, like
Yeah.
trauma of almost dying because you were trying to give birth to a kid who has wings
Yeah.
when you don't have the pelvis for it.
Yeah. Your pelvis is wrong. Try again. I also just don't understand why they couldn't do one more bit of magic to just
Yeah,
fix
like
the
what?
pelvis. Like,
I don't know.
surely,
I
in the
think
world of
Sarah was just
possibilities.
trying. She was just trying to build that up so much for
Yeah.
this ending, which it was good. But
I mean,
honestly,
I
I was
wept
like,
like a
this is a
baby.
bit. Yes, I did too.
I
Of
cried
course,
so
as you should.
hard. I like cried. Like I need to actually make that clear. Like I'm bitching about this ending a lot, but like I cried so hard because my sister is my best friend in the world, and I imagined her
Yes.
dying and me being
Okay.
able to save her, and
See,
I was like,
yes,
ah!
the whole sister bond. That was
Oh,
what I was crying about. Like
oh,
Farrah
same. Oh,
dying and
absolutely.
Nesta just finally being like
Giving it all back.
sacrificing herself to
Sacrificing
like,
everything for her. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, this is what Farrah needed.
Mhm.
I was like, you do this so much for Elaine, and I don't know. Nesta wants to do it for Farrah, but I don't think Nesta realized until like the end of the book that like I don't know. She was like blaming Farrah, wasn't she?
Well, I think it was also a lot of like Nesta's guilt because she knew she fucked
Yeah.
up when they were in the
Yeah.
cabin and everything, and that like she was sending out her little sister to hunt. And like I think that's a pretty flimsy excuse for not going out and doing it because you're still the older sister and you could just go out and help. If not, do it yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was like a lot of her motivation was overriding guilt from all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really like, oh god, I was crying so hard because I like anytime that there's a sister involved in any book, I think about my sister and I just bawl uncontrollably if something happens to that
Mm-hmm.
sister, like inconsolable for that period of time.
Yeah,
And so
I
was
get
so
it.
in my brain I was like, I would give everything, absolutely everything. I'd give my fucking life to save her. Like, oh,
Yep. Yep. It was so I also thought that was a little fast too, but it was written very well. Like, it wasn't as fast as the whole thing that we dealt with on the mountain with, like,
Yeah.
the queen and Cassian. But the scene, it was just so beautiful. I literally have no other words for it.
Yeah.
Just like her saving her sister, and then like Feyre like turning to Nesta and like saying that I love you too, because Nesta was just like,
Because
no,
she'd heard everything.
heard everything, and it was just like so cute. Oh my god. And like more is like with the baby, like I can imagine everyone else in the room, and Reese like screaming because like he's dying, like they're both dying. Like I was just like, holy shit, this is a lot. It's like, oh my god. And like and like Cassian and more. Was Amryn in the room? I can't even remember that bitch.
Fuck Amryn, honestly. I don't give a shit about Amryn anymore.
Wait, I saw something the other day that was like, Mor and Amryn are supposedly supposed to be best friends, but we've never seen them actually talk to each other.
I didn't know they were supposed to be best friends.
I don't know if they're supposed to be best friends. I honestly don't think so. They're like, co-workers basically.
They're second and third in the Night Court. That's all I know. But
they're all family, so whatever. I don't know.
No, but Amryn's behavior in that book kind of annoyed me as well. Because I don't know. They're all so old. Like, so unbelievably old, but they still act like they're just like 25-year-old men. And it's like, I couldn't possibly give a shit about what you're going through at this moment. I need you to like buck up. I need you to just be a person and acknowledge this as a 500-year-old would.
Yes.
Who's been through two
like when you're reading about them, you honestly forget that they are like hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Yes.
Because you just think like, oh, you're just another childish boy. Or woman, whatever. A lot of people are going to hate me for saying this because for some reason a lot of people hate Elaine, but I love her.
I don't. I like her.
I think that we just don't know her. Like, we've only had a couple chapters of her in literally every single book. So how can you say that you don't like her if you literally don't know anything about her? Like, we don't know what she's dealing with. We only see what she shows.
Yeah, I like that she's got that kind of like unknowable strength in her. Like, there's something brewing underneath the surface there. But at the same time, I don't like how she is with Lucien. That's what bothers me the most. Where I'm just like, can you like grow up?
Yeah, that is kind of whatever. But the only thing, one of the things that bothers me about Elaine is that she says that she's gonna like, she wants to live a normal life. Okay, that's like her whole thing. She just wants to live. Like, she doesn't want to deal with what her family's dealing with. And honestly, would you? Like, I wouldn't. I'd be like, you know what? You guys can do your own thing. I'm gonna go do mine.
This life
if you
looks
need
a lot
me, let
easier.
me know. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to put my life in danger every second of every like hour of the day. So, but when she is asked to do something, like, she's all for it, but she doesn't fight back when like one of her sisters or like someone else takes over. You know what I mean? Like, she's just like, I'll do it. That's fine. Oh, you're going to do it? Okay, that's fine too.
Yeah, like, she has no real stance on anything.
Yeah.
I feel like my excitement for her has just died down the longer that I've like tentatively known her.
And I feel like that's a lot of people. But I'm like,
I'm excited to see where it goes. More. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is something that will be shown to us, but at the moment,
maybe
I'm just
she
kind
will
of
be
like,
evil.
Yeah, that make her
and
interesting.
At this point, I'm like, whatever. Whatever you got to do, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my god, and those fucking bracelets that they made. Okay. The girls' night that they had was like one of the most endearing plot like scenes I've ever read. Like,
and the fact that the next day they go and they cut the fucking ribbon.
Yes,
all of them. I'm like,
I was so proud of them. And like when Gwen, because it was Gwen that did it first, right?
Yes.
And so I love that it wasn't Nesta first. Like, I love that it was like,
I did too.
I love that it was Gwen because she was putting so much into it as well. Like, it was her thing. And then she's the one that did it first. And when Nesta was just like, Valkyrie. Like, she just said that like she was a Valkyrie after. I was like, oh my god, hang on.
I was like, I need to sign up for a kickboxing class.
Oh, I love those moments.
Oh, and the fact that Gwen gifted the girls with their story. and the quote, "Our stories deserve to be told."
Oh god, I just
my
got so
God.
many chills.
I was like, Gwen, I just want to be friends with you.
I
I
wanna
was
be
like,
friends
can I
with
get
her
a copy
too.
of that?
I want to be her.
Oh my God. It was just so thoughtful. Gwen is just so thoughtful.
I
I
love her.
wanted to hate her. I wanted to hate her so bad. But honestly, she's such a good character.
She's so good.
And I'm so excited to learn more about her because, okay, at the very end of the book, when Cassie and Nesta are supposed to getting married, right?
Yeah, big
And the fact
lavish
that,
wedding paid for by Reese.
but we didn't get any of it. I'm like, wait a second. Are we gonna get this wedding? We didn't get it, right?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
See, this is the thing. I want to know if anyone else felt this way as well, because I'm pretty sure Corrine did not share this with me. But like, did anyone else think that this was going to be the end of like all of ACOTAR? I read this book and I
did
was
not
like,
think that at all.
I don't know why. I felt like they'd wrapped it up. Maybe it's because I don't care enough about Elaine, and because the whole like battle seemed to just have been like stamped out. But you made a good point earlier. Like, it is the Fire Lake guy.
Yeah, I honestly think that the battle, like, they took care of the human queen, but there's still the fucking guy on the
I think it was because the
whatever.
Dread Trove was gone so quickly that I was like, oh, well, that's the series done then? And I was just kind of like comfortable with that.
Yeah. And I honestly think that this whole evil Elaine, like, he's gonna get to her because she's a seer, and she's gonna go and she's gonna get the fucking
she's gonna find the Dread
Trove shit, and she's gonna give it to
because she is the other person that can use it, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure though. I'm pretty sure that was the thing where it was like it was either Nesta or Elaine could track it because they were both made.
Yes.
It's gonna be Elaine.
And look, Feyre could do it too, but they didn't want to risk it because Feyre was pregnant.
Right. Because Feyre is so fragile. So tired of that.
We can't tell her.
Yeah. Don't tell her the Dread Trove exists. Yeah. God.
But okay, the ending when they're getting married and Nesta was saying like how Gwen probably wouldn't come because she's not comfortable coming out of the library yet.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't wait to read about Gwen's story, like the rest of her story, like her coming out of the library, even if it's like with Azriel or whatever, like on her own would be great because she's done all of this stuff on her own so far, like with Nesta and Emery and like girl power and friendship. But like, okay, so Gwen teasing Az about the whole like ribbon thing.
Yeah.
Or like no, finishing the course that they set up and like her going over and like putting out her hand and she's just like, okay, I'm waiting for my like, what's the prize? I'm just like, Gwen, you bitch.
I love her. Oh, I was like,
you know exactly what you're doing, and I love it, but I also don't want to.
No, I love it. I'm fully on board.
Yeah. So do you have anything else to add about this book?
Oh God, I feel like we could keep going for days, but we've gone for a long time, so
yeah.
So I'm good.
I am too. Honestly, this book. Okay, if you had to rate it 5-star, like, what would you rate it out of 5 stars?
Out of 5 stars against all other books, or in this series?
Just the series,
it's
or maybe
favorite.
Just the book itself.
The book itself is my favorite in the series, for sure. So I'm gonna feel like a comfortable like 3.5, 4 stars for me.
Really? Okay, I'm thinking more of like a maybe like 4 stars. Yeah, I would say 4 stars because I can't quite give it the 5 stars. But
no, I can't either.
Highly recommend reading it though.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Like 100%. If you're
if you have managed to get through all of this, understanding it without having read it, don't give a shit about spoilers.
Yeah, I forgot. This is like a spoiler podcast. Hello. But yeah, so I would rate it a 4 out of 5. I would probably read it again, honestly.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Eventually, like later.
When the new one is coming out. Whenever there's a new one coming out, I'm sure I'll reread the whole series.
But. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you all for listening to this raw, messy podcast.
Honestly, this is probably a bit less rough the next time in a couple weeks.
I promise we'll actually have points to actually talk about. Instead, I promise I won't go into it being like, oh yeah, we'll just be raw. It's okay. We can just ramble on. Like,
it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure everyone was with us. It's okay. So, with all of that being said and done, Corrine, where can everyone find you?
Oh, okay. Let me see. Where am I at? I am on Instagram at Corrine.thorn. I do a lot of book cosplays if you guys are interested in that.
It's not a dot.
Oh, fuck. What? My TikTok's a dot.
Yeah.
Why
It's an
did I
underscore.
just use the same? Listen. You can find me at TikTok at Corrine.thorn. You can find me on Instagram at Corrine_thorn. Don't get it twisted. And I think that's really it. Podcast, just a thought. Where is this going to be streaming? I don't know. Maybe Spotify. I don't really know how to upload podcasts, but we'll figure it out. Okay, where can we find you at?
So I am Red Ellie Gamer on everything. So that's REDELLIEGMR. And that is redelliegamer.com. And you can find me as Red Ellie Gamer on like Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, everywhere. But redelliegamer.com is probably the easiest place that people can find me. I also have a podcast called Late to the Game. So that's the other one that I do.
Yeah, sick. Okay, sweet. Thank you guys for joining us on Just a Thought. We'll see you in our next episode. Bye.